Grayson Report. Happy Thursday. How is everyone doing? We've kind of had the weather has been here in SoCal. We've had like a mini heat wave the last couple days, and I've heard that it's gonna rain this weekend. So Mother Earth is hormonal right now. But it was I guess it was kind of nice to have some nice weather, but I would walk out and I was like, holy crap, it's warm. What is up, Tammy, D Nice, Heather, whatever, Denny Rose, Wendy Corn, Wendy Marino, Julissa. As I scroll down, sorry guys, Gutter Girl, Carol, Dusty, Joanne, Elaine. Thank you for dropping by to say hi. So how's everyone doing while we wait for a few people to trickle in? Carol has already found Skeleduck. As always, Skeleduck is somewhere in this background. Just remind me at the end of the stream and I will reveal his location. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it would help if I was on the right screen. If you don't know who or what Skeleduck is, he is pictured in my upper left-hand corner. It's probably your upper right-hand corner. That is what he looks like. I hide him every stream. I forgot I do have another one that's back here, but he's covered. So it's not that one, but you can't really see it. It's covered by my mic stand. But that is what he looks like. Just remind me at the end of the stream and I will reveal his location. How have you guys been while we wait for people to trickle in? Justine goes, are you that DJ? I heard you a long time ago. Yes. Kyle, what is up? I am. I just haven't been mixing. I haven't had time actually. What's up, Hug? How's it going? Joanne goes, finally dug my car out of the snow just in time to vote today. Awesome. Denny goes, the merch looks great. I have to actually, I probably need to update that. So I haven't looked at my merch store in a while. So I probably have to do an update. D-Dice goes, Count Orlok is Eggman from Sonic the Hedgehog. Changed my mind. I haven't been mixing. I know it's been a while. I haven't had time. I do want to get back into it. I just haven't had time. And then I have to work 2 opening shifts. So the time that I was planning on practicing and mixing, I can't. Carol has an eagle eye. She can find anything. She's like super observant. Thank you, Justine. Justine says you were amazing the way you sliced into the next song. Thank you, Justine. I appreciate that. Tyrana, what's up? Thank you, Justine. I really do appreciate that. D-Dice goes, hey, can't complain. You're in a better place than before. Kind of, guys. Kind of. The more I'm there, the more I'm finding some things. Yeah. Joanne goes, work always interrupt my lifestyle. It does, doesn't it? Carol goes, my truck is still buried under the snow. I have no strength to clean it off. That's the one thing I probably have never experienced here in SoCal is trying to dig my car out of the snow. I'd probably like snow for a day and that's about it. I've been in the snow, but I've never like really driven in it or anything. I mean, obviously we take a trip to the mountains and that's about it. Gunner Girl, what is up? We'll wait a few more minutes to trickle in. If you guys haven't caught, we're going to talk about Robert Eggers Nosferatu. I also have some other movie news that I'm going to add on. Nosferatu is currently streaming on Peacock, so if you guys have Peacock, it is on there. I don't know. Denny goes, I saw Hard Eyes. I'd love it. I recommend it. I'm definitely going to catch that when it comes on streaming, Denny. Dusty goes, work is a learning curve at first, then you find exactly. I feel like it doesn't matter where you work, there's always going to be issues or something. You know what I mean? I just feel that way. It doesn't matter. It's the same anywhere you go, I feel like. And D Nice is also saying that the OG, the original Nosferatu, is also on YouTube. I don't think I've never sat down and seen the original. I hate to say it. I've seen bits and pieces of it. It came out in 1929. The original is always going to be better, in my opinion. But I was excited to see Nosferatu, so we sat down and watched it. We also got a physical copy of it as well. What's up, Wendy Corn? How's it going? Oh, that's okay, Justine. I wasn't even thinking of that. I know people take that the wrong way, but I don't. I kind of, it's weird because when I see people put all caps, I read it like, I don't read it as shouting. I read it like someone's excited. So I'm a little different. Carol goes, I'm still recovering from an upper respiratory infection that landed me in the hospital. Wow. That sucks, Carol, but I'm glad you're on the men. Thank you, Gunner Girl. Lisa, you look extra beautiful tonight. Thank you. Heather, whatever. I appreciate that. Lisa's cool. Justine goes, that is my favorite vampire movie. Mine is Bram Stoker's Dracula. It always will be Bram Stoker's Dracula with Gary Oldman. And I know Keanu Reeves. I know I've seen people review saying that the acting between Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder is horrible. Plus, it's got what's his face in it. I can't think of his name right now. I had brain fart. Sir Anthony Hopkins. It has him in there. He plays Van Helsing, and he's also the priest at the very beginning. And I just realized that this year, and I've seen it over a gazillion times. Loved Gary Oldman in it. He became my favorite actor from that moment on. One of my favorite actors. Carol goes, all caused from coffee. It is going around too, Carol. Luckily, I'm gonna knock on wood. Luckily, I haven't had any issues. D Nice goes, my favorite is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. How funky is your chicken? But and I even have the poster. I have the movie poster in here, and I have like a I guess it's a cool poster, but it's not a movie poster. I think someone made it, but it looks so cool because it has the young Dracula by played by Gary Oldman. I also have the Funko Pops. You know me, I have to have the Funko Pops. He was so good in it. I could watch that over and over and over again. I've seen it about a gazillion times. If I saw it, where was it the last time? I think it was on Prime, and I watched it. Whenever I see it, I click on it. But that is my favorite, and I know a lot of people like Bela Lugosi because of obviously the classics. And I know this year they are going to bring the Universal monsters. I think the first start of this year was Wolf Moon, that movie Wolf Moon. I don't know if you guys saw that. I didn't see it. I'm waiting. I'm probably going to see it on streaming or something like that. Forgot what the name movie. I think it was called Wolf. Was it called Wolf Moon? I'm probably thinking of it wrong, but there was a wolf movie that came out last month. I don't remember the name of it, but I think that was it's part of the Universal Monsters, and then they're having Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein later this year, if I'm not mistaken. because this is it seems like by Frankenstein is by Guillermo del Toro, and I know it's coming out later this year. November November of 2025. So they're going to have a Frankenstein movie. I know I did an article where Guillermo del Toro was staying at a haunted hotel while he was filming Frankenstein. And I believe they're going to have a Bride of Frankenstein movie as well, but I'm not sure when that one is coming out. And I know The Bride is very popular. Joanne goes, I always like Vincent Price. Oh, I love Vincent Price. No one can replace Vincent Price. Danny goes, my grandmother loved Bela Lugosi. Her and her next door neighbor used to be scared out of their mind. My grandma used to watch her friend till she got in her house. I did get to see that one, but Gary Oldman is still my Dracula. They even had one on Netflix like a couple years ago as well. It wasn't bad at all. Like I liked it, but I still like I said, Gary Oldman is my Dracula. Justine goes, I hate Twilight. I mean, if you don't mind if your vampire sparkle. I read the books. I mean, I like the little teeny bopper. I mean, the awkwardness and like your first love type thing. I mean, it kind of reminded me when I was like in high school and stuff like that. I kind of could relate to that a little bit. I mean, I don't consider it I mean, it's more of a teeny bopper vampire movie. I feel like you're falling in love with the first person you fall in love with happens to be a vampire. Forever, what's his face? Robert Pattinson will forever be known from Twilight. I don't think anyone's going to ever erase that from their mind. Even though he was in Harry Potter too. The Goblet, the Goblet of Fire, I think he was in. But yeah. I mean, I liked it, but not as a vampire movie. I more like it because it's like a teeny bopper film. I read the books. You can kind of like relate to it, you know, kind of like your first love type of thing. I mean, I guess it'd be kind of cool if your first love was a vampire, but I mean, hey. And they didn't drink blood, so I mean, yeah, come on. Nerd Report goes, he was a terrible Batman. Yes, he is not my Batman. Nope. Luckily, James Gunn announced that he is not part of his universe. So the only thing out of that Batman I liked was the Penguin. Nerd Report goes, I mean, was that even a vampire? I mean, it was a hybrid vampire, but I'm sorry, hybrid vampire aside, it would always be Blade. He's badass. I feel like Blade is like the realest vampire you could get. I feel like, yeah, like the Twilight vampires weren't really vampires because they didn't really drink blood. I mean, they would go hunting in the woods because they didn't. I mean, they were friendly vampires. They would go in the woods and eat animal blood, and they were able to control their hunger type of thing. So I feel like, I mean, it is what it is. I felt like it's like a teeny bopper type of thing more than anything. But Blade, I'm sorry, Blade, because yeah. Heather, whatever. Thank you for your PayPal. Hearts for Heather, whatever, guys. Hug goes, I love Interview with the Vampire. It's rumored to be based on Mercy Brown, the first rumored vampire in the US. Exeter, Rhode Island. I've been to her grave. There's also other people that are said to be had been vampires as well. Real quick before I get into Nosferatu, Nerdapurko's a vampire is the reanimated body of a dead person believed to come from the grave at night and suck the blood of a person to sleep. I mean, Blade was a little different. And then you had Underworld with the lichens and the vampires, which was a little different. And I kind of liked Underworld because of that, because it actually featured, it was different. And it had werewolves and lichens. No, Nerd Report, that was not Edward. Edward was a sparkling vampire. Nicolas Cage was that Nicolas Cage movie. In fact, they just announced like he's in another like a surfer movie. Renfield. I have not seen that one because that one that I've heard people say it's good, but I haven't seen it because it looked too comical to me, and I'm not a big. I mean, I do like comical horror a little bit, but that seemed like it was a little too comical for me. Wolfman, that was the movie. Wolfman came out January 17th, and it was directed by Lee Wanell. Um, that is supposed to be part of the Universal Monsters, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think it's out on streaming yet. I mean, I felt like it kind of got um lost in a way. There wasn't that I feel like there wasn't that much hype to it. Is it on streaming? It's on VOD, it looks like. But I'm not sure when it's gonna come to a streaming service. It seems like lately that movies are automatically like jumping to movies like or to streaming services like within weeks. It's crazy. I remember you used to have to wait like 5 months to be able to see one. Yeah, it's available for VOD if you guys are that type of person that likes to purchase digital movies. Nerd Report goes, I heard Wolfman sucked. It might because they're trying, like I said, they're trying to reinvent all the classic movies. It seems like, and Blumhouse seems to be notorious for that right now. I've saw reports that they want to bring back the Blair Witch Project, but yeah, I mean, obviously, the hype back then in the '90s was that people actually thought the Blair Witch was real, so that's what made people intrigued by it. I don't think it's going to have that same effect like it did back then. Um, I just feel like there's too many remakes when it comes to horror movies. I wish there was more originality. So when I do see I agree, Nerd Report, Blumhouse has lost its way. I mean, I'm all down. They just announced, I mean, as corny as it sounds, they announced Popeye the Slayer Man, and I know I had mentioned it before. And as corny as this movie sounds, and as crazy as Popeye looks, because I'm used to see the only live action Popeye we had was Robin Williams, and it was amazing. Um, they did announce that it's gonna hit theaters and VOD. Um, and it's Popeye Horrified, a slasher film. And I mean, I'm more intrigued by that. I hate to say it, even though it sounds cheesy. And it's gonna be out on VOD and theaters March 21st, 2025. I mean, I'm more intrigued by that than by seeing a remake of like the Blair Witch Project or a remake of I can't think I can't think of the movie off my head right now. American Psycho. I mean, I would much rather see, or I saw that there's a Pooh movie or Piglet movie too. It's called Piglet. I mean, I'm more intrigued by seeing something like that, even though, like I said, it sounds cheesy as hell. But I'm more intrigued by that than seeing another remake because at least it's different. It's I mean, obviously it's turning something we know we're familiar with from childhood into something horrific, which I'm all for. I already know like a lot of those movies though are low budget, so you can't have high expectations when it comes to those. But I am like excited for those, even though I know it's probably not going to be the greatest movie I'll ever see, but it's different. Wendy goes, I agree with you. I'm not against remakes. I've seen some. I've seen prequels that are amazing that I loved, but I don't think sometimes an OG needs to remain an OG, and I do agree with you on that one, Wendy. I do. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've seen some remakes that I've loved, like My Bloody Valentine. I've seen both of them. I loved them. Um, Friday the 13th. I loved them. When they did like a newer Friday the 13th. Emily Parkinson, thank you for being a member of the Wolf Pack for 8 months. Watched Long Legs, gotta watch it again. It was crazy. That is my next movie, guys. It's on Hulu. Hearts for Emily Parkinson's, guys. It is on Hulu currently. If you guys have Hulu, I found out that if you have T-Mobile, you could get Hulu for free. So I jumped on that as soon as I saw that. So if you guys have T-Mobile here in the States, you could get Hulu for free, and Long Legs is on there. It is the Nicolas Cage film that where he portrays a serial killer. It did get high reviews, but just because it's got a lot of hype doesn't mean it's good. Nerderpert goes, who thinks Lisa should talk about horror movies more? And also, thank you, Nerd, for being a member of the Wolf Pack for 22 months. Send Lisa some love. Send her some bird seeds, hearts for Nerd Report and Emily Parkinson as well. Thank you. Justine is asking, please answer, do you like Anne Rice? I never read her books. I wasn't a huge fan of. I mean, I never was intrigued by Interview with a Vampire, so I never really watched it. So so I guess I can't say I'm not a fan because I never was. I didn't see interest in her. Emily, what? Thank you for gifting 5 memberships. Welcome, Julianne, Kyle, Hug, Wendy Marino, and Heather, whatever, to the Wolf Pack. Hearts for Emily Parkinson. Thank you. D Dice goes, anything with Nicolas Cage is gold no matter what. Love the awkwardness. My favorite movie with Nicolas Cage, it's not a horror film. It's Con Air. I love that movie. Con Air and Gone in 60 Seconds. Those are my 2 Nicolas Cage movies, and they're not even horror. My favorite movies by him. I have to like him by default because he is my birthday twin. So I automatically like him. Um, Hug goes birdseed because Lisa's a vegetarian. I like that one, Hug. Justine goes, I have Interview with a Vampire in my DVD collection. Nothing wrong if you like Anne Rice. All for it. I just never got into her. Like I never really got into the books. Oh, Face Off was good too. Julissa goes, what about Pig? You know what? I didn't see that one. I know of it, but I never saw it. But like I said, it's weird because I know he has some horror films, and I've never really watched any of his horror films. But Long Legs is on my list, and it is next for sure. Nerderbergo's not sure if I like any Nick Cage movie much. Joanne goes, my favorite Nick Cage movie is the one where he wins the lottery. Nerderbergo's an American Pig in London. Julissa goes, watch Pig, then tell me what you think of it. I will put it on my list. Justine goes, when he was in that movie with Shirley MacLaine. Hug goes, you like Vampire Lestat by Anne Rice. It's really the story the film Queen of the Dam was based on. I did like Queen of the Dam. I did. Okay, I scratched that. I did like Queen of the Dam. I mean, the soundtrack to Queen of the Dam. I think what Jonathan Davis, I think from Korn had a track on there, if I'm not mistaken. Also, too, in theaters, I know last week, The Monkey came out, which is that Stephen King, based on a Stephen King short. I know it made some money. I haven't seen that one yet. Probably gonna wait for it to come on streaming. Nerd Report, I'm with you. Can't wait for 28 weeks later. 28 weeks, 28 days. That is the movie that got me into zombies. I was never a big zombie fan. I wasn't, believe it or not. You would think, oh my God, Lisa, really? Yeah, I was not a big zombie fan growing up. I was not. And no, it wasn't The Walking Dead that got me into zombies. I want to say most people probably got into zombies because of The Walking Dead. I know some people got into zombies from Night of the Living Dead. I'm 28 days, 28 weeks later. I love that movie, and I cannot wait for June to come so I could see 28 years later. I am super excited about that. Julissa goes, Nicolas Cage has grown on me. I couldn't stand him when I was younger. I hated Fast Times at Ridgemont High. When I see him younger, I just start laughing. I think that because I'm so used to the way he looks now. And when you see someone super young, like when he was like 19, I just start laughing because I'm like, oh my God, like it's him, but it's not him. Nerd Report goes Dawn of the Dead 2004. I did watch those. I did watch those. But I didn't become, like I said, I did not become a zombie fan until I saw 28 days later. And they're also coming out, and I honestly saw with the Crystal Lake series, um, because of the issues they've been having with Friday the 13th. So I never actually thought that the Crystal Lake series was going to come to existence, but I have been seeing news articles where it is. I do know that the Friday the 13th game no longer exists because they couldn't continue doing it. So that game shut down, I believed, in October. I believe it was in October, if I'm not mistaken. It was, or no, it was sooner than or later than that. But it was recent where the Friday 13th game had to shut down its servers. So you no longer can play that game. But I was surprised that they are casting for the Crystal Lake series. I didn't think that was a go, but it looks like it is. I don't know how I feel about that. Jason is my favorite horror icon. One of my favorite horror icons. Because my favorite subgenre is slasher. So I love slashers. So I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know like how they're gonna even do that. I don't know. Nerd Report goes press 1 for more horror movies on Grayson Report. Nerd Report put 1. Nerd Report goes William Dafoe, young is crazy looking. Yes. Carol goes, I like the first Resident Evil. I liked the game. I actually liked the movies. I want to say that's probably because a lot of times we'll have these games brought to life in a movie and it's horrible. That and Silent Hill, I actually liked both the movies. Um, and it was weird because the one thing I hated in the Resident Evil game was the dogs. I hated the dogs. So in the movie, when they had the dogs, I was like, oh my God, it brought back those flashbacks. And every time I watch it, even to this day, I'm like, oh my God, I hated those dogs. But Silent Hill was cool too. Justine has seen all the Hellraisers. Oh, I'm a huge Hellraiser fan. Nerd Report goes, hold on, listen, if they don't care about fixing the rights of Friday the 13th to make new movies, why should I? True. I agree. I don't think I'm really gonna really want to watch that Crystal Lake series. I'll probably take a gander at it, but I just feel like they've been in talks about it so long that like everyone's lost interest in it. And I'm a huge Hellraiser fan. Love Doug Bradley as Pinhead. He was at one of the Man Monsters that we went to. It was weird because we were eating breakfast and he was over there eating breakfast, and I was like, and he actually dressed up for a photo op as Pinhead that year. So it was crazy. It was the first time he had done that in a long time. Um, I feel like the first four Hellraisers, I will always say this, the first four Hellraisers are probably the only ones that are worth watching. Um, After that it goes downhill. That's kind of how I explain it. I watch Hellraiser religiously. It is, I believe it's still on um Tubi. It is a free app. It has great horror movies on it. It even has some of those obscure horror movies on it, like some cheesy ones. Um, but I even recite the lines from it. I like the box, the lament configuration. I have a Pinhead figurine that I buy. I wish I got the Chatterer, but at the time, yeah, because I love the Chatterer. He's one of my favorite Cenobites. Before I knew their names, I would call him Teeth. But now I know their names. It's the Chatterer, Butterball, Male. So I just, I could watch that movie over and over again. But yeah, if you guys have Tubi, it is free. Check it out. You can when you it's got more than just horror. It's got all kinds of movies. But you can it categorizes between 1980s horror, 1990s horror, 2000 horror. So like if you're in a mood for 80s horror, you could click on that. It does have All Hallows Eve on it, which is basically before Terrifier even came to existence. By Damien Leone. He did also direct and write that one as well. It's kind of, I mean, there was a short which I'm still trying to find on YouTube. I haven't found it yet. There's a short, a 11-minute short, I think, and then there's the All Hallows Eve movie, which I do recommend it if you're a fan of Terrifier. I would watch it. It's completely different than Terrifier. In fact, I kind of enjoyed it. It kind of gave you a introduction to Art the Clown before we knew Art the Clown. Terrifier is a different entity when it comes to that. Um, Terrifier 3 is on Screambox. You can watch it there. Unfortunately, you have to pay for it. Screambox is another um horror streaming app like Shudder. Um, but you can watch some movies for free. So if you do sign up for Screambox, you could see the first Terrifier and the second Terrifier for free. As well, if you guys are looking for free things to watch. Emily, what? Thank you for gifting 5 more memberships. Welcome, Daisy, Logical Spark, Mistress, Meg, Art, Norman, and Tammy Parentu. Hopefully I pronounced your last name correctly. Hearts for Emily. Thank you, Emily. You're awesome. All right, we are going to get into the nitty gritty. As I said earlier, Robert Eggers, the Nosferatu that was released at Christmas of last year. Finally got a chance to see it. It is streaming on Peacock. If you guys, like I said, if you guys have Peacock, it is. I'm gonna try to talk about it because I know a lot of you probably haven't seen it, so I'm gonna try to leave spoilers out. I'm just gonna kind of give. Nerd Report goes effing great stream today, Lisa. Thank you, Nerd Report. So I'm gonna try to keep this spoiler free. My intentions was to kind of like give you a heads up, but I know like not everyone has Peacock. But if you do have a chance to get Peacock, I would check it out. Nerdberg goes, what is there to spoil? True. So basically, I mean, the only other Robert Eggers movie I believe I saw was The Witch. And that movie was a what the F type movie because I didn't know what the F was going on. It was like a mind F. Beautifully filmed. Camera work was amazing on The Witch, right? Anna Taylor-Joy, amazing actress. I like her actually. The only thing I actually liked out of that movie was Black Phillip, which I have several Funko Pops of. Tell me what that movie is about. I could probably tell you kind of what it was about, but it was, like I said, it wasn't mind F. It was the what the F is going on. But beautifully shot. So keep that in mind when you watch Nosferatu. Beautifully shot. Beautifully. Cinematography. On point. The shadow. On point. Acting. Felt like amazing actors. Lily Rose Depp, amazing job. Bill Skarsgård, I've loved Bill Skarsgård since Pennywise. Amazing actor. Storyline. All right, so if you are familiar with Bram Stoker's Dracula, it is very similar to the storyline. Very similar. They just changed the names. But like the idea, like I kind of already knew what was going on. I was like, okay, that character is Renfield. If you are familiar with Bram Stoker's Dracula, you'll know who Renfield is, right? That character's Renfield. I mean, amazing actors. All of them did a great job. William Dafoe is even in it in 2024 Nosferatu. He did an amazing job. He played like Van Helsing in Bram Stoker's Dracula. Just to give you like the parallels between the two. Lily Rose Depp probably is more like Mina from Bram Stoker's Dracula. They just changed the name. Even the and they're married, right? Because in Bram Stoker's Dracula, they get married later. Again, D Nice is reminding if you guys want to catch the original Nosferatu, which was released in 1929, it is on YouTube for free. It is a silent movie. Which I think silent movies are always going to be creepy because without sound, they're basing it on shadows, cinematography. You still have to act even if there's no sound. Wendy Burrito goes, why change the names? Oh yeah. Little differences. There is a little differences, but you get the point, right? So, Orlok. We all know what Orlok looks like. We are familiar. Even if we have not seen the original Nosferatu, we know who Orlok is. We know what he looks like, right? So, scene comes in. It's Bill Skarsgård playing Orlok. I'm excited. I'm like, oh my God, Bill Skarsgård. He played Pennywise, was amazing. He comes out and I'm like, why? I don't know if if you guys have seen the pictures. I don't feel like I don't feel like this is a spoiler because you can probably see the pictures. But why did he have I mean, I get it. I get it. I kind of was thinking they were going for this, which I'm going to show you a picture. You guys are probably familiar. Vlad the Impaler, right? If you guys aren't familiar, I will pop him up. So keep this in mind. This is Vlad the Impaler, right? And the way that Orlok looked in Robert Eggers Nosferatu was very similar to how he looks, but ancient, obviously. Ancient, like super old, right? But he had a 70 porn stash. And we all know what the original Orlok looks like, right? He's creepy. Like, he had Bill Skarsgård character had the mustache. So that's the only indication that I figured maybe they were trying to base him on Vlad the Impaler. Because Vlad the Impaler obviously has the mustache, the porn stash. At the time, they probably didn't call it a porn stash. The voice was cool at first. It was a little hard because I didn't have any subtitles. It was actually a bit hard to understand what he was saying because it was so thick. But it was cool. It sounded like a Transylvania or Romanian accent. More of a Romanian accent, I should say. Nowadays, it's a Romanian accent. Like goes Lisa, not the porn stash. And obviously, the way Robert Eggers he directs, he uses shadows, so you really don't see him because he's in a dark room and there's like a fireplace in the background. And like I said, if you're familiar with Bram Stoker's Dracula with Gary Oldman, it's kind of almost like the same scene, just a different Dracula. This is Orlok, then you got Dracula, right? But it's reminiscing, like it mirrors it. But very hard to understand him in some parts. So I'm going like, you know how when you concentrate to try to understand him, I was like, I have no idea what he said. Did you know what he said? We were like, no. There were no women vampires in this one, as like, you know, in Bram Stoker's Dracula that kind of attacked Jonathan Harker. It was Orlok himself. He escapes, finds a coven, same as Bram Stoker. So, I mean, I kind of feel like I'm not giving anything away. If you're familiar with Bram Stoker's, it's almost similar. I mean, when he talks, Orlok, it's like you're waiting a century for him to talk or finish talking. I felt like this movie was a bit long, like it dragged. For me, this is for me. I don't know. You guys might think else. You might think differently if you guys watched it, but for me, it dragged. It really dragged. Like I said, beautiful cinematography. Enjoyed the cinematography. There were parts where like the camera was like this. And I was like, what? Did they have the camera in the person's face? Because there was close-ups of Lily Rose Depp in some of the scenes. Like, she's talking to another actress, so there's like close-up, like, boom, the camera's like right here. And I'm like, what the hell? And they're like looking at the camera, like almost. But they're actually looking at the other person. And then you could see the person that they're talking to, the hand comes out on the other side of the, you know, the scene, right? Beautifully shot. Even when like they were showing the shadows with Orlok, because you know how in Bram Stoker's Dracula the shadow kind of is part of the scene as well. Like he looks this way and Dracula happened and the shadow's creeping up on him, but then he ends up looking that way and Dracula pops up on this side. You know what I mean? So like the shadows were amazing. The scenes, how he used like the fireplace to light, Orlok up was amazing. Like, but I felt like the script was missing something. Like there was no umph to it. It was like something I've obviously, like I said, it was something I knew already because of Bram Stoker's. Um, he did put some scenes in there that were shocking. Like, why was that in there? Like, what was the point of that? There was a scene where he comes up to a village, like a bunch of gypsies were there, and the guy was speaking in his language, right? And the other guy was speaking English, because he's British. And I'm like, how in the world does he know what he's saying? And how in the world does he know what he's saying? Because they were acting like they knew what the other was saying. And I have a feeling that character had no idea what that person was saying, but they knew what they were saying. And I'm like, how the heck do you know what they're saying? So it was like there was a point in the movie and I was like, oh my God, just end it. Please. And there it comes, Orlok's voice. So, like I said, he had a Romanian accent, super thick. Nothing wrong with the voice. But it was like Lily Rose Depp because he wanted her. And because he was rejecting her, he was taking away people that she loved. So people were knocking down. So he was like, dude. I'm not kidding. He was like, two more. Because he gave her 3 days, right? Two more. I'm not kidding. It was like that. 5 hours later, days. I am not kidding you. When you watch it, you're going to know what I'm talking about. Like, he spoke. he, you are going to be mine. And it just, I wish I was laughing so hard. But it's a thicker accent, right? But it was like, I'm sitting here and I'm like waiting. The movie I think is 2 hours and 12 minutes. And at this point, I'm like, I've already seen what I've seen, right? It's similar to what I've been saying, Bram Stoker's Dracula. And I'm like, I already kind of know how this is going to end, but I kind of don't. I kind of want to watch, but I don't because it's kind of dragging. And then he goes on and goes, because like I said, he gives her an ultimatum because that's who he wants. I guess he's been haunting her entire life. Like she's known things, like she's been open. I want to say like because how she explains it, she's like, I've known things, like I've known when my father would come home. I've known when my so and so was going to die. I know this and that. Like she was kind of like a psychic in a way, or maybe because of her connection with Orlok gave her this, but she knew him for a very long time. So it was as if I want to say like they were past lovers, from the past, going with the Bram Stoker storyline, right? So he was gonna have her regardless, but she was like, I am never gonna go with you, you bastard. She didn't say you bastard, but you get what I'm saying. But he ends up knocking the people she close to her, like, basically killing the people close to her. And she finally gives in, right? But each day that pass on, he's like, 3 more days, but I will return. And it just like the voice just, it was like the most, it's like we want the movie to end, but he keeps he can't even finish a sentence within the time. You know what I mean? Because he takes a very long time to talk. Matthew, what's up? And you will know. And then when you guys see it, comment the next time I'm live, or even like on my social media, comment and go, oh my God, Lisa, you were right. The ending was weird. I'm not going to give it away, but it was weird. But um there are some like nude women in it. I'm gonna tell you that because Robert Eggers likes to be shocking. I didn't find it shocking. I just was like, what does the price of tea have to do with China? Like, why is this here? Why do we need it to see a naked chick in this scene? I do not know, but it was there. So I mean, just so you don't watch it with your kids or something. But yeah. I mean if you want to watch it, you're more than welcome to watch it. I'm kind of a critic that you can't say you don't like something unless you watch it type of thing. You can't say bad things about anything unless you watch it. So I'm going to open it up to you for you guys to watch it. You guys may like it. It just could be me. I didn't find it scary at all. So it's not a scary movie. Um Not a scary movie. Denny goes, "What's the title of the movie?" It's Nosferatu, but it's the 2024 version, directed by Robert Eggers. D Nice goes, "I watched it with my man and two best friends and one of their husbands. Interesting to watch with friends." Yes, because you don't think D Nice. I think you know what scene I'm talking about. You don't think you're gonna see like a full-fledged naked woman. You know what I mean? Like, what does that have? Like I said, what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Like, what does it have to do? Like, just like what? You're trying to get the shock value out of it? Like, oh my god, look at what he put in there. Like, what? I mean, there was one scene which I get like toward the end with Orlok and Lily Rose Depp's character, which I kind of can see. I mean, but like in Bram Stoker's Dracula, even Winona Ryder didn't like show that much skin, but she still showed like the control that Dracula had over her without showing skin. You know what I mean? I mean, she had her, like she was like ripping at her clothes, but she wasn't naked. You know what I mean? So it's like you can film a scene without exposing. I mean, I kind of got it at the like, toward the end where, yeah, I mean, it kind of made sense there. Kind of. I mean, because it was kind of like we still showed that like he has this control over her, like this how they say vampires can make you like have this sexual urge over you, like you can fall in love with them just by their look, your eyes on you, stuff like that. Like there was that magnetism in there, which I get. I kind of understand that, but it's just like why? Did I agree. Don't watch with family like parents or siblings. Yeah, because that'd be very awkward. Like, do not watch it. Because like I said, there is nudity in it, so don't watch it with your kids. It's not scary at all. So I mean, you're not gonna have nightmares by watching it. I feel like the silent film, even though I didn't really watch it, but I feel like just what I've seen of it, I feel like that's creepier and scarier than this movie is. But if you like good cinematography, by all means watch it. I'm not saying he's a horrible director because his cinematography is amazing. It is. It's amazing. Um, I agree, Emily Parkinson's skin sells, unfortunately. It does. But I just feel like you don't need to show it to show that um to show that hold that Dracula or even Orlok has on someone. You don't need that. Wendy Corn goes, I adore great cinematography. So I mean, you could watch it for the cinematography, but like the storyline, like I said earlier, if you're coming in right now, it mirrors Bram Stoker's Dracula. Just a few things are changed, but you kind of get like, oh my god, like that's who so and so from Bram Stoker's. That I have a feeling that's Renfield, and yeah, and it was Renfield, but their version of it. But it's just the storyline. I just felt like it was something I saw before. There was no like, I don't know, meat in within the storyline, like no substance. I don't know how you can explain that. But it was shot beautifully. Um, the actors did an amazing job. Like they did. They did an amazing job. I'm not I mean, I know I've seen movies where the acting was horrible, but I still enjoyed the movie. So it just Denny Rose goes, "Did you watch the Nos for A2 series? It's pretty good." No, I have not. Elaine, I totally agree. She could have done baggy jeans and a sweatshirt and still gotten the point across. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Like, even like, you're ripping your clothes apart. That's still getting the point. That's what Winona Ryder did in Bram Stoker's Dracula, and I still got the point. I got the point that she wanted him. You know what I mean? So that's all you need to do. You don't need to show everything. Like, you don't. But I think he puts that in for the shock value just to get the attention of people. But I mean, yeah, you're going to get the attention, but it's like a lot of people are probably going to look at that and go, "What? Why is this here?" Hey up, Gene Rick, how's it going? Thank you, Gene Rick, for that super sticker of the fitness pair. Hearts for Gene Rick. And what? Emily Parkins? What? Thank you for another 5 memberships. Hearts for Emily Parkinson's and welcome Dandy Patch, Jackie Ripper, Gloria Thornton, Chameleon UK, and Fabulous Fab to the Wolf Pack. Hearts for Emily and Gene Rick. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate that. But like I said, it is on Peacock for those of you that have Peacock. Or you could buy it if you want to buy it, because I know some people collect movies, or you might be able to get a free trial to Peacock and check it out. It is streaming now. There it was. I guess they added an extended deleted scene. Because I noticed something weird after we played the movie. It wanted to play it again, and I was like, "Oh my god, I don't want to see that again." So I don't know. I don't know if I saw, because I didn't see it in theater, so I don't know if I saw the extended deleted scene, because it was supposed to. Denny Rose, it's on Prime for $24.99. So for you guys that like to buy digital movies, just remember that they could take it away from you at any time. I feel like if you do buy movies, you should buy the physical plat the physical actual copy, because digital, they could take it away from you. If they lose the rights to that movie, even though you paid for it, they could take it away. Like, you could have it in your video library for years and they lose the rights to it, that's it. So it's like, that's why I'm kind of iffy when I like digital. Don't get me wrong, it's way easier just to go to like Movies Anywhere or Vudu and then find your movie and play it, instead of like popping a DVD in the player, you know what I mean? Or 4K. Now it's 4K. I think more people have 4K. It's so convenient, so much easier um to stream than to actually have a physical copy. But in that case, it's better to have a physical copy. Oh no, Denny goes, it's $24.99 to rent. What? That's crazy. Hell no. I would never rent a movie for $24.99. Maybe if it was like $2.99, I might, I might budge, but 24? Hell no. D nice. Oh yeah, you could get, when you buy the physical copy, you also get the digital copy with it too as well. So, but I feel like if you do collect movies, it's better just to get the physical copy. Um, but like Dean Nice says, it does come with the digital with it. So I mean, but like I said, if they ever lose the rights, then you're SOL. Like, you lose the movie. At least with a physical copy, you still have it. D nice, I go, yes, love having physical media. It's even now, like, I used to be an avid CD collector. And then I was like, I would never stream. And then I got into streaming. So now I stream everything, but I don't consider like like I pay for Spotify, so I don't consider that like actual buying a physical album because you're just streaming from a service. So that I feel like that's something different. But I definitely want to catch Long Legs. That's probably going to be my next movie that I watch. I've been wanting to see that one forever. All right, guys, I am going to go open it up for questions. Also, I'll give you a few minutes to look for Skeleduck. I know Carol has already spotted it within the first 2 seconds of my stream, but that's okay. Carol is amazing. Very observant. Dusty goes, I have over 1,000 CDs of my favorite movies, but love to stream on Tubi. I mean, obviously we love to stream because it's convenient. It's convenient. It's easy. You just go to your app or whatever app you have. Like I have Max. Like Max tends to be the one I type. I kind of wide. I do Max and Netflix because I watch the documentaries on Netflix. And then Max, I have like my shows and stuff on that. Julissa goes, I watched Long Legs after your last stream. It was just okay. So Julissa did not like Long Legs. I mean, like I said, or I've said it before, I'm sure I've said it in the past, but just because something has a lot of hype to it doesn't mean that it's good. Like Parasite, for example. I'm going to use Parasite as an example, and I'm going to use Hereditary as an example. So, Hereditary. If you guys aren't familiar with Hereditary, it's that movie. Um, it's a mind f movie, right? It involves witchcraft. At the time, I didn't know it involved witchcraft, but it had a lot of hype to it. Oh my god, Hereditary this, Hereditary that. So, cued my interest. I decided to watch it. Like, what is the hype, right? Obviously, if somebody's talking a lot about a movie, you want to watch it. Watched it, got to the end. I go, that movie was just about witchcraft, and got a lot of hype. This is the best movie ever. It's about witchcraft. Like, I've seen it. What's the big deal? So I wasn't impressed with Hereditary. I didn't care for it. It was okay. I didn't feel like I wasn't bored out of my mind when I was watching it. So then comes Parasite, right? Korean horror film. No one's seen a Korean horror film ever, it seemed like, right? So big hype around it. Best movie ever. I think it won movie of the year. I think. I go watch it. I love Asian horror, right? So I've seen plenty of good Asian horror films, plenty of great Korean horror films. If you like zombies, Train to Busan, it is an amazing movie. If you haven't caught it, catch it. Amazing Korean zombie movie. Amazing movie. Love that movie. Tale of Two Sisters, another amazing Korean horror film I've seen. So I watched Parasite. I'm like, you call this good? This is my opinion, though. I know some people have other opinions, but I'm like, this. It's like you people have never seen a horror Korean movie. I've seen better. I've seen better movies that no one probably even like. The Tale of Two Sisters. I know a lot of people don't even know that movie. I just came across it by accident, like because I'm the type of person that will, I used to. I haven't done it lately, but I used to go on Netflix and just like scroll through the horror movies and pick one. And a lot of times it would, if I was in the mood, because you got to be in the mood to read subtitles when it comes to Asian horror, but I love Asian horror. But I've seen way better than Parasite, and this won an award. Like, so like I said, just because something has a lot of hype doesn't mean it's good. And I use those two as an example. So Julissa not liking Long Legs, I totally believe it. I mean, I may not like it either. But I'm going to check it out because I'm curious about it. Tyrana goes, I did not like Hereditary either. Julissa goes, I agree with you, Lisa. Denny goes, Train to Busan is good. Dusty goes, I think we'll be getting a lot of Gene Hackman movies. Yeah, that's crazy. That was crazy. I woke up and I was like, what? I was like, not Gene Hackman. I mean, granted, he was 95, but the way, I don't know, it's kind of fishy. I haven't gotten an update since this morning, so I haven't been following it because I got home, ate, and then came right on stream, so I haven't gotten updated on that. But I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it's fishy. But yeah, usually I hate to say, usually when someone dies, that's when they become famous. So Sublime, if you're familiar with music, Sublime, when the lead singer sublimed, he OD'd. Um, they were probably more of an underground punk band. Um, No Doubt would when No Doubt was punk before Gwen Stefani went pop, would tour with them. They didn't become famous until he passed away. So, because I mean, people only tend to flock to things they know. So if they're talking about a certain thing over and over again, people are going to be curious. They're going to be like, "Who's Sublime? What? Oh, I got to check them out." You know what I mean? Because they're all over the news. So obviously, I mean, a lot of people know who Gene Hackman is. I mean, he was in Superman. Come on, he played Lex Luthor. Luthor. Uh, and he was a great actor. So a lot of people do know who he is, but obviously it's going to put him back into people's minds. So his movies are probably going to start, the streaming on a few of his movies are going to start to skyrocket. Um, Justine goes, I love indie movies too. Yeah, indie movies are great. Denny Rose goes, not horror, but Alice in Borderland is a really good series. I do know of that. I've heard of it. I don't know if I think I've took a, like, like a, like a look at it, but I don't think I've actually watched it. I did hear it was good. The name is cool. Matthew goes, a favorite Gene Hackman film is Loose Cannons with Dan Aykroyd. Emily Parkinson's goes, Emily of the State. Enemy of the State. I'm getting tongue twisted. Tyrana goes, very sus. It is. I'm very suspicious of how Gene Hackman. Then I saw that his wife had passed too, and I was like, wait a minute, she's like way younger than he is. So I was kind of like, Dee Nice was kind of like Brittany Murphy and how her and her husband passed. Granted, she passed first and he passed later, but I think it was carbon monoxide, kind of what they say. That's what I was thinking at first, because I was like, isn't his wife like younger than him? Like, how is she? And then a dog. So that is where I was thinking carbon monoxide, but then I saw someone post like his door was open. So like I said, I haven't heard any of the updates. Because I just got home from work 8 and then came on here. So Wendy goes, yeah, 30 years younger than Jean. She was young. Granted, she's in her 60s, but that's still young. I feel like you still have a lot. You still have a lot of life to live. I felt like my dad, when he passed at 77, he still had life left to live. And I always felt like my dad was going to live long into his 80s. So to have him pass at 77 was like, I just felt like we were robbed of him. So I feel like, yeah, when you hit your 90s, I feel like it's still sad when you lose somebody, but no matter what, it's still sad. But I feel like when you hit your 90s, that's that, or when you're like his age, 95, 100, wow, you lived a life. Like, it's a blessing to live till 90, 95. There's a lot of people, like my mom, for example, that didn't make it past 50. So it's a blessing to live. And I still feel like people in their 60s are still young. I do. I really do. And some people in their 70s are still young. Dusty goes, very curious story. We need to wait for the toxicology report. That will take time. Yes, it will. Denny goes, my mom passed at 67. Sorry to hear of your loss, Denny. It still sucks regardless of what age your family member passes. It still sucks because thank you, Heather, whatever. Lisa, sorry for your loss too. Thank you. It still sucks. It doesn't matter what age they are. They could be 105. It still sucks losing someone. Denny Rose, my grandmother died at 96 on her birthday. We were together when she passed. My grandmother, on my dad's side, passed at 95. She was born in 1905 and she passed away on 9/11 when the Twin Towers were hit. So I will never forget that day ever. D Nice goes, both my grandmothers lived to 91 but passed at 2009 and 2014. So blessed to have had both so long. My parents need to live to 100. I will not allow them to pass. No more passing. Tired of it. I know what you mean. Like after a while, I mean, I don't have a big family, so it's not, I won't, I know some of you have big families, so it sucks. It sucks. I had a coworker at my last job where I don't know, it seemed like every month, and I felt bad for her. It seemed like every month she had like her grandmother passed or she had an aunt, but she had a big family though, so it's understandable. But I felt so bad for her because it seemed like it was definitely like, you know how they say things come in three? Like it felt like that for her, and I felt so bad for her. Heather, whatever goes, my mom is in her 90s. It is a gift. It is a gift to live until your 90s. Life is a gift. Julissa goes, I have a big family. It does suck. It does. Dusty goes, my mom lived to be 78, too young for cancer. My dad lived to 92. He always missed her. They were married for almost 60 years. Wow. Emily Parkinson goes, I'm 59 and almost died from the flu in December. Wow. Emily, I'm so glad you're still here. You never know. Life is not guaranteed. So it's like I always try to think like, today was a good day because there's tomorrow may not, you never know. D Nice goes, that's what I said with Gene. They go in threes. Heather, whatever goes, my relative had longevity except my grandpa. Julianne, I miss my dad. I miss mine too. I miss both my parents. Danny goes, yes, it does suck. Within 5 years, lost my mom, the grandma, Jeanette, then my grandmother, and then my godmother. It was a rough 5 years, along with more crap that happened. It does. I mean, it sucks. Sorry to hear. It does suck. But like D Nice, I agree with what you're saying. You need to believe uh what you're saying to Emily. You need to be alive right now. Your purpose is not fulfilled. I always feel like, I mean, the older I get, the more it it's like, well, if you fulfill your life purpose, that's kind of how when people die young, they had already fulfilled their life purpose. And it's sad. It is. But Wendy Corn, yes, every day is basically awesome, even when it's not, because you still have your health. You're still here. All right, guys, real quick. Skeleduck is right there. He is right next to the skull, and my weightlifting gnome. I was gonna call elf, but it's a gnome. He is right there. He's on my left hand side, but it's probably on your right hand side of the screen. All right, guys. Any last minute questions before I end this stream? D-Nice goes, sometimes it's unfair with organ donors or DNRs. My dad was a DNR, but it could be their purpose. Exactly. I mean, my dad didn't want to be resuscitated. We had to respect his wishes. Yes, underneath the poinsettias. I forgot. I have poinsettias there too. That I just I just left them there. I thought they were cool looking. Thank you, Emily Parkinson. Love to you, Lisa. Danny Rose, that is super awesome. Great news. Thank you, Tyrana. Thank you, Lisa, for a great stream. Heather, whatever, Saint, stay safe, y'all. All right, guys, I am going to end the stream here. Guys, thank you for joining me on this edition of Grayson Report. I will see you on the next one. Stay spooky, sweet nightmares, and have a great rest of your week. Good night, guys, and thank you. You guys are awesome.